Welcome everyone, I'm Laura Thornquist, your host. Today I'm here with our CEO of Energy Ogre, Jesson Bradshaw. Always good to have you. And
thanks.
Yeah,
all the way over here.
All the way over. I'm glad you traveled so far to come meet us.
Well, thanks for having me.
His office is right behind us, just being real here, folks. Today I really want us to talk about apathy. The fact that there's so many Texans out there that are just so apathetic about their electricity bill. They're just like, just pay it, don't want to deal with it, don't want to think about it. And it's really costing them. You know, I kind of liken it to, I don't know, income taxes. Like, I'll wait to the very last minute to pay income taxes. Or I get my hair done, right? 2 hours. Who likes wasting 2 hours getting your hair done, right? I know you can relate to that.
Problem,
Okay. Anyway, I'm just keeping it real. I mean, it's one of those things that people just don't want to deal with. So talk about why we think people are apathetic.
I think a lot of it has to do with that's our entire history of buying electricity prior to the market opening up on a competitive basis. So, I mean, no one ever thought about it. You sign up and you pay what you pay, and the rates are what they are, and they're regulated, and it is what it is. So I think that we don't have a history of really thinking about this to say, I need to check this, I need to check this more often. And so we've seen that over, the market's been open for almost 20 years, and we've seen this consistently where we have a huge portion of the population that is in sort of fire and forget mode. It doesn't, there are folks that have just forgotten or, have moved on to bigger and more important things in their lives, because I think, all of us have, problems where I don't have as much attention to do everything. I get, my job, I gotta get focused on these things, and inevitably some of the things fall to the wayside. So in the end, electricity is not massively sexy, and so it's not the first thing. I think people pay attention to it when they get a high bill, or someone says something that spurs them to say, I need to think about that a little bit more. But
then they don't do anything.
Right, so that's really why we've tried to make it as easy as we can. Like I wholeheartedly understand where, I've got 3 kids, my wife works, and so, time is a premium for everybody. And if you got to remember to come back and do this and do this and do this and do this, it makes it hard for folks. So I think that's really why we tried to set it up the way we've done, to make it as simple as possible for folks to get that value.
Do you think people actually realize how much they are overpaying?
I don't, and I think that's a big part of the reason. It's if you say it's just not worth my time. A lot of folks, can you get a coupon and go to the grocery store? Absolutely. For a lot of folks, they might say, well, I don't care if I save 50 cents on Pop-Tarts. It's just not that big of a deal. But in a lot of cases, people probably have the ability to save, several hundreds, if not $1,000 on a yearly basis, and it's meaningful amounts that need to be looked at.
For the longest time, when I would work to save money and cut corners, I would take that money and put it away, and that would be my vacation fund. So I mean, it's always something. It depends. Christmas gifts, or if your kids are in sports, and we know how expensive that can be.
For sure.
So is there an easy way for people to know, or a reminder, or what can we do? Because they forget if they fall out of contract. I mean, should they just check with us? Do a bar check?
That's not to continue to say what's the end.
And we're trying not to. We're trying to be educational.
So our first mission here is really to try to educate the consuming public. That's really what I want to accomplish more than anything, because I'm hopeful that in the end, if I show everybody what's going on, or we can talk about here's what the pitfalls are, here's the things you need to look out for, I believe that the convenience of having us take care of it for people is worth it for most folks. But yeah, absolutely. That's why we try to make free resources available on our website. Just take a spot check. There's a power check that you can look and say, is this reasonable? Am I generally in the market? Am I generally out of the market? We have a savings calculator that's free. So those kinds of things to give you an idea, hey, maybe there's something better that's out there. Whether you let us handle it for you, that's awesome. If you want to use that as the motivation to go do incremental research by yourself and figure out how to do all that, that's great. But you have to look at this stuff at least once a year. I would, tell most people to keep looking at these things, and then use whatever free resources that are out there. I mean, we're a great resource for folks, and that's a huge part of our mission.
And again, you think it's because a lot of people just don't realize that they have choices, or they've just forgotten?
I think that we all have a limited amount of attention, right? And so we just get our attention gets pulled in a lot of different. Exactly. And I think here it's especially hard because you can't go You can't drive anywhere. You can't watch TV.
Right.
You can't surf online without seeing an ad for a retailer, cheapest, best, most awesome, whatever. And I think it's just information overload for most people. They're like, I just want to go with this, and I'm gonna not deal with that. So I think that's what happens to folks. Unfortunately, it just means that there's a cost to that
Right.
I think a lot of people don't really fully appreciate the magnitude of that cost.
I think people actually just kind of get numb to all the messaging out there, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, not one retail electricity provider is better than another.
No, I mean they all have, some retailers have great plans. Those same retailers have some horrific plans.
Right.
So it's not like a manufacturing business where you say, hey, I know that what your choice. I know that Mercedes-Benz or I know that Ford Motor Company makes a good vehicle, and it's consistent throughout most of their product lines. Is the way they build. Electricity is not really that way. Mm-hmm. It's the terms and conditions. It's a contract, right? It's a service that someone else is providing to you, and their goal is, like every other service-based business, is to get you to pay the most amount of money that you'll pay for that, right? It's like a movie theater. That's why they have matinee prices and all the rest of it. So that's just the way it works, and I think that most people understand that when they sit back and think about it. But again, it's not terribly sexy to think about your electricity service until you start getting this sort of bill shock.
Or the lights are out.
That's right.
Right. Well, I think we should come up with hashtags like wake up and I don't know, maybe ogres versus zombies. What do you think about that?
Sounds good to me.
All right. I guess to conclude today, apathy is a very costly mistake. We are here to try to educate you. We challenge you today to go to our power check and just plug in a few bits of information to see what you're paying in today's rates and today's marketplace. So.
Give you a good idea where you are.
All right, Jesson. As always, we appreciate your time.
All the way over.
Have a great day.